Hello, and welcome back to my podcast, Pulling Back the Curtain with Benny Ali. We are on episode 20 of Pulling Back the Curtain, PBC, as it were. And today we're going to focus on deep work. Now, deep work is very simple. It's doing a task that requires a lot of energy, and it's just a little bit monotonous, just focusing on one thing over and over again. You turn off all your distractions, you don't have anything else going on in the background, you just do this one thing. And it can be the simplest thing as going for a walk or tying your shoe. It's just a time to let your mind wander and create and also help build up skills that will help you in your life, in your path, in your career path, as it were. For example, when I trained Muay Thai kickboxing, there were three things we needed to do every single day we trained. We had to run, no Muay Thai. We had to skip rope, and we had to shadow box. Now, I equate this to many things in my life. For instance, when you are running, you're building up gas in the tank so you can go longer and harder and outrun everybody else. If you have more energy in the tank, you give yourself more opportunity to succeed in Muay Thai, for instance. When you're skipping rope, you're learning rhythm and rhyme. You're getting explosive bouncing movements so that you can cut corners, so that you can outmaneuver your opponent. That's also very important. And shadowboxing allows you time to use your imagination to create an opponent in front of you. How would you react? How would you move? How would you slip? How would you throw a punch? How would you throw a kick? And what would you do when they throw things at you? How will you react? It's putting all the elements that you've been working on into action. As an actor, you do the same thing. For running, for instance, you are observing and absorbing the human condition. Now that can get really, really complicated. It can, for instance, you can be working customer service and just people watch all day long. Why are people the way they are? How they're reacting to things, and how you can better understand what motivates them to do that thing. But taking classes, watching cinema, watching TikTok and YouTubers, the content you create, that you want to create. If you want to create more realism, you watch people. If you want to watch more theater, if you want to do more theater, watch theater. Good theater. If you want to do bad theater, watch bad theater. If you want to do B movies, watch B movies. YouTube and TikToks and voice work and everything. You've got to watch the media that you are wanting to create. And I don't say that you should only watch one thing, one style. I think you should watch all of them because they all express varying formats of the human condition, which is what all acting is. Acting is acting and reacting. That's it. It's all about listening with your eyes and your ears. I know I've said this before, but that's the secret. If you listen with your eyes and your ears, you'll get more information out of it and more of a greater understanding of the human condition to better express it. When I went to college, I studied psychology and theater because psychology studies the human condition and theater expresses it. They go hand in hand. If you're able to effectively express yourself, then no one can misunderstand you. And if they misunderstand you, then you can learn to say, I accept your misunderstanding and move on. It all comes together. I know, it's crazy. I'm a crazy person like that. And the third element is shadowboxing, or for an actor, it's play. You just gotta play. You gotta have that joy of making mistakes, of trying different aspects of things. Skipping rope. The skipping rope part is putting the necessary elements into action for versatility. And for me, that's text analysis. That's breaking down the script and figuring out what is really happening here. Boil it down to its very bare minimum for what it is. And that's what's really fun for me. There's nothing more enjoyable than taking a script, a brand new script I haven't read in ever, and just reading through it and finding the little nuances of my character, of my other characters, and how other people view me, and then figuring out how I want to do things. What are my three rules? What do I want? What's in my way? How am I going to get it? You figure out those three things, and you're set. You're set for life in anything and everything your pursuits. But as an actor, you have to figure out exactly what is in my way. What do I want? And how am I going to get it? What do I want? What's in my way? How am I going to get it? What do I want? What's in my way? How am I going to get it? That's the big thing. And through text analysis, you can get a wealth of knowledge that you can just pull together the bouncing and maneuverings that you get from skipping rope, and explosiveness that you build in the rhythm and rhyme of everything that will build up inside of you, so that when you get to play 3 Shadowbox with rehearsals, with improvisation, actually doing the thing, actually performing the thing, it'll all pour out into you. Now, the director hopefully will guide you through the darkness to the light at the end of the tunnel, to the desired performance he or she or whomever wants you to do. And I think that is such an important collaboration, that you do your homework, that you observe the human condition, understand why people are wired, get an idea, do read about the time period that you are portraying, because people that live in the 30s are going to act way different than people that live in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010, 2020s. Their posture is going to be different. For instance, the other day I learned that a lot of people now are very hunched over and try to be as small as possible in 2024. But in the 50s and the 40s, people were very barrel-chested and open, saying, hello, how are you? How's it going? And that can definitely influence how you carry yourself in the scene. So you got to do your research. That's running. You got to build up the tank, right? Build up the knowledge by reading about the time period, about learning about the human condition, watching movies from that time period, observing people that are of that age and how they carry themselves and why would they carry themselves that way. What was going on in that time? What are the given circumstances? That's the important part. Then, with skipping rope, you start to text analysis what you are given. You're in a small little space. What are the given circumstances? What do you know? There's this great text analysis that I never came up with, but I use from years ago. It goes like this. First, you write down everything your character, the playwright, says. First, what does the playwright, the writer, say about your character? Second, what does your character say about yourself? And third, what does everyone else say about you? Define the given circumstances you have with them, because there's a certain way you would talk to your mother, your brother, your sister, your father, your best friend, your lover, and then that will help you decide how you perform the scene as they come into your world, right? Next, once you get all that information, and I always put the page number there because that's just what I like to do. So I go back, I figure out what's the big super objective, what's the ultimate goal, and then I figure out what's the little inconveniences that are happening and how would I overcome them and how would I move forward, etc., etc. And then there's shadowboxing. Work, play, 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 play. It is all play. That's the joy of being an actor. You get to play in the experience, making mistakes, because the biggest quote mistake you make could make the scene more believable, more enjoyable. You never know. I mean, I was doing a play where I was a drunk Italian man, and it was It's a Wonderful Life. At the very end of it, like I lost all my money and I'm hanging out, and like I take off my hat, which is the mailman's hat at the moment. And I put it on the main guy, and he says, "He looks like a mailman. He thinks he's a mailman," and it was hilarious, and it added to the scene. Directors may keep it. Directors may say, "No, don't ever do that again." You never know. You just gotta throw it at the wall. I mean, I call it the spaghetti method. How do you tell spaghetti's done? You take a noodle, you fling it at the fridge. If it sticks, it's done. Perfect, no problem. But if it doesn't, put it back in the pot. Use it another time. I wouldn't recommend doing that in real life with actual spaghetti because, I'm a full-blooded Italian. Technically have. But I digress. The point is you got to try. You have to be brave and bold and try different things. The biggest selling points of me as an actor is I'm loud, I make bold choices from start to finish, and I take direction very well. Because my philosophy is, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want until you tell me otherwise. Simple as that. That's how that works. So, you got to be willing to look like a fool in order to find yourself as the master of your territory. And enjoy the process. Enjoy every aspect of it. I mean, yes, learning lines is rough and exhausting as you got to go forwards and backwards and do continuation. Like, for instance, I walk in the room and say, I love you, but you also say aloud of like, I love you because you're the only one that accepts me for me. Then repeat the line, I love you. And when you say that out loud, it adds more intent and gravitas to the line. And if your fellow actor is there with you, then they can gravitate to that and feel it as well. That's what I enjoy. Finding those little nuances of the intent. And the only way you can truly get that is if you do the work. Do your homework first. Read, write, reflect, practice aloud. Enjoy the work. Enjoy every aspect of it. You got to take the thing that you're doing and boil it down to its bare minimum, the simplest aspects of it. And that is where the real growth begins. I don't know why, but I feel compelled to say this one thing. Eminem, arguably one of the greatest rappers of all time. He understood deep work perfectly. What is rapping but using words? Words are your weapons. So you know what he did? He cracked open the dictionary. He cracked open the dictionary and he learned what words were, what they meant, and then he figured out how to manipulate and bend them to his will whenever he did anything. He would read the dictionary, he would write everything down, tons and tons and tons of notebooks everywhere. He kept a pen and paper with him wherever he went. And then he would do rap battles, or he put it all together in improv on the line. That's what you got to do. You got to find your three things. What is your running? What is your skipping rope? What is your shadow boxing for your career? And once you figure that out, you're golden. So I'll leave you with that. You got to find your three deep work practices. They may not be the most glorious things, but if you don't get your deep work down, you're going to stay where you are. And if that's where you want to be, I hope you enjoy it, but not this guy. No. I'm going to keep doing my deep work. I'm going to keep observing the human condition at my job. I'm going to keep watching quality movies and TV shows. I'm going to keep reading my books and keep journaling and writing. I'm going to keep working on my craft so that when I get to play and I get to enjoy the moments of all the text analysis, all the back and forth, all the beautiful things that happen in this crazy brain of mine, I'm going to fly. I'm going to fly right up to the top as your next star. Well, this has been episode 20 of Pulling Back the Curtain with Vinny Ali. I'm your host, Vinny Ali, and thank you guys for your time. And do yourself a favor. Get out there. Get into your deep work. And as Mike Tyson said, do it as if you love the thing that you hate to do most.